So I like to tell people that I'm a very, very bad employee, because when you hire me, I won't do the same job for 6 months. I need constant change. I need constant stimulation. And I think that's why I found myself in digital, because all the jobs that I was doing just weren't fitting my personality and my need to create and innovate. So when I left my last job, I thought to myself, let me do something for myself. And I feel like digital is the best way to start, because it's free, it's easy, and anybody can be on it. Nobody cares who you are. You get to tell your story and manage your brand, and that gives you so much power. So when I realized this, I decided to start a few platforms online, but my biggest one right now is my podcast called Lessons with Lion that I have on SoundCloud and iTunes. And basically on Lessons with Lion, we talk about marketing and entrepreneurship in South Africa. And what I mainly do is give business tips to entrepreneurs, because I found that a lot of entrepreneurs have great products, great services, but they just don't know how to sell it online. It's not the same as when you're talking to someone face to face. It's a different conversation and you say it differently. Well, I mean, I'd like to argue that people aren't really invisible on social media. In fact, everyone is too visible. And so the real challenge comes in, how can I make myself even more visible than the visible people? And I found that with social media, when you know how to tell a story, you can get very far. So I came up with the name Lebo Lion because I felt like in every industry I was in, I was the only woman. And I needed to speak louder and show my presence. And I thought to myself, I have to give myself a name that I can live up to and that people can respect when they hear it. When you hear Lebo Lion, you're expecting a lot from this person. But I think the most important thing that I've learned is, it's going to sound very wishy-washy, but you really have to believe in yourself. It doesn't matter where your business is. It can be online, it can be in a shop, but if you don't believe in yourself and you don't feel confident about what you're doing, people will feel it. And nobody wants to buy into a product or a service that the owner doesn't even believe in. So I'd say I've learned that you need to be the consumer, the first consumer of your own product or service, and then you need to believe in it and tell stories. I mean, the world is full of people. We want to hear your story. That's what makes it personal, especially online. Storytelling is important. Social media is important. If you're consistent on it and you believe in yourself, people will buy into what you have to sell. I actually started my podcast very recently, about 3 to 4 months ago, and it came from going to incubators and meeting a lot of entrepreneurs and people in digital and marketing who were testing out new things. They were interested in what was going on in America and the UK, and they were like, podcasts are so big right now, let's start a podcast. And I was like, you know what, I have nothing to lose, let me try this podcast thing. And I was stunned at my own growth in the podcast world, because you have celebrities, for instance, like Zabs, who's got so much pull, and my podcast is doing better than his, and he's got bigger sponsors than me. He had very important people listening to him, CEOs before me. I just had like 5 people listening to me, and we went from 5 listeners to 200 listeners within the space of a month. So I'm very proud of myself and the growth that we've been experiencing, and I've gotten it just from telling stories. So when I started working, I worked in a lot of fashion spaces, and I found that weight is it's a big thing, you know. If you're not a certain size, a lot of brands don't want to work with you. A lot of the time you'll be doing the work behind the scenes, because people would rather see a thin person than a fat person in front of the camera. So I thought, this is just ridiculous, because we are all beautiful people and all of us matter, our bodies matter. So let me do something about it. So I started a platform called Full Cream Figure. I started it about a year ago, and when I started, it was just to uplift people who were going through the same struggles as me, and that led to a stream of other projects that we started based on our followers. Our followers asked for it. We did not say we wanted to do these things. So now we have an online magazine, we have events that we do, we have paid for shoots. They asked to pay. I didn't want them to pay, but they want to, because they see so much value. We have Essence Festival that wants to work with us. We have international bloggers that want to work with our platform because they see the value of a positive message. I suggest you tune in if you want to take your business to the next level. You can find me on Twitter at Lebo Lion _SA, or Facebook and Instagram at Lebo Lion _SA. Keep pushing, keep thriving, and make sure that you're living your dream, because what's the point if you're not doing that?